Alright, I want to make a quick video on how to replace the how to do a drain and fill on the automatic transmission for a 2017 RAV4 all-wheel drive XLE. First, the car's been sitting overnight, so it's cold. I jacked up and I put 4 jack stands, got it level. That's very important for doing this. All right, now there's your transmission. It's on the driver's side. Here's your pan, and there is the drain plug. Okay, and there's two parts to it. First, you're going to have this drain plug. You need a 6mm to remove it, and you're going to have some come out. Not a whole lot, but a little. Maybe a quart and a half. And you want to use a tool like this with a hex socket, 6mm. Got a 6-inch extension on it. And so once you drain that quart and a half out, when you release that drain plug, you're going to stick your tool back up in that same hole, and you're going to remove the this is the tube. There's a tube, and that's going to give you the right amount of fluid that you want in your transmission. And when there's too much fluid, then it'll come up over the top of this and it'll drain out. We're going to do that later in the video. So now that I got it drained out, I'm going to stick this tube back up in there. Just snug it up. It's plastic, so don't over tighten it. And then you're going to put your plug back in. Don't make it tight though. Just tight enough where it won't leak. And then you're going to take your driver's side wheel off to access the fill plug. I forgot to mention, before you jack this car up, you want to loosen the lug nuts. Crack them loose. Don't take them off, but just crack them loose so that you can easily remove the tire without moving the car when it's up on these jack stands. Okay, for safety. You don't want to be rocking this car more than you want. So do that first, and then lift it up on the jack stands. Now, I forgot to show you, but you can see you want a measured pan. Gives you the quarts, and I don't know if you could see. Let me see if I could. I'm sitting there right below 3 quarts. Okay, so you want to add about a half quart more. So I'm going to be just a little bit over 3, just a hair over that 3 mark, that I'm going to add back into it. And then when we do the when we start the vehicle, well, I'll show you how to do that. The excess is going to rise up when it gets to temperature, and it's going to come back out. You're going to release the excess through this area right here, and that'll give you the proper fill. Okay, I got the tire removed, and right here behind this skirt, plastic protective skirting, is where your fill plug is going to be. But you have these plastic clips you got to remove. It's best to use a tool like this. This is designed to take these out. You work it in there. Bam. You got 2 up here. That came out. It's fine. And you got the 2 up here, and there's 2 on the bottom. I'll show you that in a second. Alright, so you got 1 here on the bottom, and back over here, you got 1 right here, okay? Then this whole thing will come off. Plastic covers off. And now you have access to your fill. And it's marked on there WS. Okay? Which stands, I believe, for World Standard. And that's the kind of transmission fluid you want. You want to get the, just go to the dealer and get the OEM Toyota ATF fluid for this, for your model of car. This is a 24 millimeter, so you need a 24 millimeter socket to crack that loose. Okay. All right, I'm going to put in 3 quarts, maybe just a little bit over. And here's my transfer pump. I have the one end going into my ATF fluid, my first quart. Then you got your other line that's going to pump it right into here.
Looks like there's a kink in it.
Okay, I have my tubes in the wrong holes. If you have this type of transfer pump, the bottom port, that line goes into your transmission. The top port is going to go into your quart of fluid or gallon or whatever you have. And you just pump it nice and slow until it gets all the way in there and get your 3 quarts in. Okay, so now we got to trick the computer when we do this procedure to get the proper fill on your transmission. Okay, the car's off. Here's your OBD2 connector right underneath the steering wheel area, underneath the dash. You want to have the 4th one over on top. Put your wire in one end of your wire, or maybe you could probably use a paper clip too. In there on the 4th one over, 1, 2, 3, 4 on top, and on the bottom it's the 5th one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you got to use a really small wire too, because I've done this like 3 different times with different size wires. They're really tiny. Bam. So 4th on top, 5th one over on the bottom. Okay, and it's nice and snug. All right. Now, it's best to have an assistant help you do this. All right, while the other person's underneath ready. So basically, right here. Hold on, let me get the keys. The keys got to be close to the dash. I mean to the car for it to operate. Okay, so once you got the jumper in underneath the dash, you got the doors closed, you keep your foot off the brake. We're not doing that yet. And you want to hit the engine stop button. Of course, if your foot's off the brake, it won't start. You're going to hit this button once, wait a couple seconds, it'll say power on the dash, and then you hit it one more time, and then you should have all these lights flashing on your dash. And you're basically in a diagnosis mode. It kind of even tells you here on the screen, diagnosis. All right, so you want to make sure that's going on before you start the car with your foot on the brake. And you're going to keep your foot on the brake the whole time, because you're going to have somebody else beneath the car waiting, okay, for this icon, which is in park right now, but it should be flashing. And then once it stops flashing and it goes on solid for 2 seconds, then you're going to holler down to the person below the car, hey, go ahead and, drain it, okay? And that's going to be the right temperature. Of course, you added an extra, half a quart to whatever you took out. So now you actually have too much fluid in the transmission, but that's okay because you have the overflow tube in there. And when that transmission fluid gets to around 100 degrees, okay, that oil is going to expand, and then the extra oil you added in there is going to dump out through the top of that overflow tube, and it's going to drain out and give it the perfect level that you're looking for. So again, now that we got this here, the light's flashing, it's in diagnosis mode. We're going to put our foot on the brake, and we're going to start the car. Keep your foot on the brake the whole time. And you're going to shift. Reverse, park, drive. Go back up to park. Reverse. Do that a few times. Back to park. Reverse. Drive. Back to park. Drive. Okay, now I don't know why my light's not flashing. That drive indicator is not flashing. It's supposed to be, and then when it gets to temperature, it's supposed to come on solid. This little icon right here, but interesting. So, in a perfect world, that's what's supposed to happen. I don't know why mine's not doing it. And then once it comes on solid for like 2 seconds, okay, that means you got the right temperature and your transmission going on. Have the person yank out the wire. Bam. Wire's yanked out, and now you could drain it. And it's going to come out pretty steady. And then when it starts to trickle off, and not be a steady stream, that's when you know you got the right level, because there's no more excess that's coming down the tube. And that's at the point you want to put your plug back in and tighten it up, the drain plug. And then that's it. You're set, you know. Make sure you carefully, put the tire back on, put your lug nuts back on, snug them up, and then carefully lower the vehicle back down off the jack stands, and then torque down your lug nuts on the driver's side tire. Once you do that, take it for a test drive. Should shift smooth. There should be no issues. And that'll keep your transmission happy and get a lot of miles out of your transmission. Hope this video helps. Okay, when I did mine, like I said, that drive indicator was always solid from the get-go. It's supposed to be blinking, and then when it's the temperature, it'll go solid for 2 seconds, and or you give it where it's going solid for 2 seconds, and then you drain the fluid. Well, I don't know, but I had my wife shift it multiple times and go back and forth real good on the drive neutral, and I just figured it was about the temperature it should be. We didn't go too long with it, but enough to work the gears right. And then I went down underneath it, and I took off the drain plug, and then it started a steady stream of transmission fluid coming out. And then that happened for like 25 seconds, 30 seconds. And then it started to get that trickle where where you could tell that there was no more really coming from the top down through the overflow tube. So that's the exact level you want. All right. And so then I just capped it off and Took it for a test drive, and I mean, it's shifting great. No issues at all. It's actually working better than it was before. A lot smoother. But the other way you could do it is if you get like a temperature gun from like an auto store or Harbor Freight or wherever, and it has a laser on it, and you point it at what you want to, whatever you want, a temperature you want to read off of whatever. Okay, so you're going to point that at the bottom of the pan, and maybe up a little higher on the pan, just a little bit. And then when you get to 100 degrees, that should be good right there, because I want to say that the range for the proper temperature for your transmission oil on that car is between 95 and 105. So 100 degrees would be right in the middle of that range. So I would go with that. You get to 100 degrees, you're good. Bam. Open up that drain plug and let the oil drain till it starts to sputter off, and then you're good. Put the oil drain plug back in, and your car's good to go. So you could do it both ways, right? Or if you have a high dollar scan tool, I've heard you could do it. Obviously use that to get the specific temperature readout on your transmission when you're doing this job. Good luck. I hope the video helps. Take care.